my fellow Americans, this is former President Barack Hussein Obama, and you're listening to the Mad Titan Podcast. Please be sure to support this young brother from Chicago, Jay Washington, because he's a funny bastard. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington. What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It is episode 20 of the Mad Titan Podcast with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington. What's going on? How you feeling, people? As always, first and foremost, let me start off by saying thank you to everybody that checked out episode 19, and thank you to my guest, Hector Navarro, for a dope-ass interview. I appreciate that so much, y'all. This time, later on in the show, I got an amazing interview with one of the stars of NAACP Image Award nominee for Outstanding Children's Program, Marvel Avengers Black Panther's Quest, Miss Ashleigh Hairston, one of my friends. I got a chance to talk with her, man, and it was an honor and a pleasure, and it was a shock to her as well. She couldn't believe somebody wanted to interview, and I'm like, yo, you're doing dope things, so as always, I want to show love to that. Appreciate everybody who has been showing love on the Black Panther article I wrote. Yo, if you have not checked it, it is on Mad Titan Cast right now. It is why Black Panther deserves its... Why is Black Panther so worthy of its Oscar nomination? So go check that out. This article took me over a month to write, and it's a lot of great points. It brings up a lot of issues while people saying it's not a good film, but you're talking Best Picture. This is Best Picture overall, and I break down all the elements that do that, so I want you to check that out as well. This week, I'm not riding solo, thank God. I mean, y'all be loving it when I'm here by myself, and it just feels weird staring out the window, watching cars roll by, talking to myself about comic book shit. But nonetheless, this week, I got my homeboy with me. He and I met last year during Black History Month and during Black Panther. And let me tell you about the power of Black Panther, people. It brings black people together, and not even a family barbecue can take us apart. Ladies and gentlemen.
Let you go!
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Winston Marshall in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Thank you for having me, Mad Titan, motherfucker.
Hey, man, you bring your volume down like we on TV or some shit. You ain't got to fully emote. Nigga, we can hear you. These mics are good, okay? I got them from Amazon, so I know they work.
Didn't even go to Fry's, not a Sammy's
Nigga got it from Amazon.
He said to Amazon.
Nigga with my Prime account that I got free for an extra 30 days because I was going to cancel the 30 days free and they gave me another 30 free.
He went and called Diana Themyscira and said, bitch, I need some microphones.
I get some mics, man. So, yeah, bro, we met last year when everybody was doing the Black People Meetup. Like, it's not the dating site, but a Black People Meetup for Black Panther, and you were a cool brother. And then I got to meet you and talk to you more after we got a little bit cool at the Schmodown, because I remember what you were telling me about your perceptions of me. So go ahead, tell the listeners what you thought.
I mean, look, man, I just remember when I first met you, like, we really met at the meetup, like you said, but the very first time, my homegirl Cheyenne, shout out to Pretty Brown and Nerdy and that crew over there, took me to go see the Schmodown or whatever, and she knew you, and we talked for a sec. You're like, yeah, what's up, nigga? And then you just kept on walking and then say to me, I was like, this uppity ass nigga up in here talking about I'm the resident black person in this motherfucker. But it was exactly that, man. The more I just got a chance to meet you at like random events and stuff like that, and we're in the same circles, you're just a down to earth dude. You know your shit, and you're funny than a motherfucker.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm a dude where I don't, because and I think it's one of my faults, and it's one of my biggest qualities. Because of being from Chicago, I'm real leery of LA people in general.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, people, you can meet them and they be like, all right, what type of bullshit are you about to be on?
No,
but I never got that from you, though. And I'm not saying that's what I felt the first time with you. I never got that from you. And you were super cool and super down to earth. And then we got to talking and kicking and hanging out. And then shouts out to everybody that's getting ready to catch this Black movie trivia Schmodown. Him and I did. This shit is for the culture.
For real.
So I'll tell you this. If you have not seen it yet, go and join the movie trip. Nah, wait till it comes on YouTube. I'll just tell you, wait till it comes on YouTube. We'll just do that.
Yeah.
But no, that was a bunch of fun, man, talking that. And then like one time you came over and helped me with an audition, and we just rapped and chilled and realized how funny each other could be in conversation. And I just not trying to make each other laugh, just naturally being cool. And so that shit is I appreciate, man. How did you get started into this whole blerdy world?
Man, I mean, it's straight from like just childhood. I was born and raised in Dallas, man, and I was raised by Nintendo and TV, man. Like,
I really thought you were going to say I was raised by niggas. Sorry.
I mean, it's not.
Hey, incorrect. I just want to say to my non-black listeners, don't ever repeat that. I love y'all, but go ahead.
Please don't. I don't want you to catch an eye, Jimmy. And I will tell you that if you know where iJimmy comes from, you still can't say the N-word, but you did gain at least 1 black point.
Boy, if you don't finish telling your damn story.
My point is, I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, man, and my parents got divorced when I was young. And so, truthfully, it was kind of a latchkey situation where, like, I would get dropped off at home or whatever, and I would just be there playing my video games, watching Power Rangers, watching Batman the Animated Series, reading my comic books, all that kind of stuff, man. So that's always been at the core of things. And, like, at my heart, I'm an actor in a comic. Like, I've loved making people laugh, doing impressions, all that kind of stuff. But, this nerd world is just where I've been at for sure, like, forever. And it's cool to see that we're in an age now where that's acceptable. I won't lie, I've been a little salty when Black Panther first came out. All these niggas that ain't never picked up a comic book in their life trying to claim out here.
Oh, bro. Oh, my God.
The greatest meme I ever saw was like one black girl coming up to like a nerd nigga being like, oh man, I want to be the Sasuke to your Nightwing, like in your your Wakanda. It's like, bitch, you know what you're talking about? Like,
no, I thought that was the craziest thing. Like, I don't. I'm not an expert, a specialist, and a gatekeeper of any movies or TV shows or whatever. But when you saw people, I was happy for the excitement about Black Panther, which we as growing up on it, you wanted that. But when you saw people who started trying to talk about the character that you knew
inside and out,
had no understanding.
The thing that killed me is I distinctly remember. There was this one girl in high school, and like randomly she was just like, I was trying to like talk to her or whatever, and I came walking up in an X-Men shirt, and she was like laughing me out the goddamn room, but then wants to sit there and turn around and go on and on about Black Panther, like on Twitter and shit like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that blows my mind, where again, I'm in no way, shape, or form a gatekeeper either. It was just very interesting to be like, what was nerdy before and what was unacceptable before is now loved universally.
Right.
So if anything, that whole saying where they say it gets better, I feel like this is that moment where it's happening now, where now it's widely acceptable for us to just be us.
I've always had my issues back and forth with it now, how it's open, because it became open as a pop culture thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm cool with it. I'm glad we're able to be who we are in the streets, and just talk about our love of whether it be comic books, anime, video games, whatever the case may be. But I'm glad that happened. But it's just so weird that what it took to be pop culture based and whatnot. But anyway, man, I'm not gonna hold you with the full interview on this man. You know him. You'll find out more about him a little bit later. Yeah. For those who don't know what the podcast is about here, if you're just tuning in, I get you caught up on everything that's happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. That means those with capes, cowls, and masks. If it's those, I will tell you about it. Now, will I be watching Watchmen? Probably not, because why? I don't have HBO. Don't you judge me?
My nigga.
Nigga, don't do that.
Why?
Because I already got to watch 15 fucking shows.
You want me to? That's fine. I'll watch Watchmen, and I'll come back to the podcast just to do Watchmen.
That's a bet. We'll do that, because nigga, I got to let me tell you something. First of all, also like I said, y'all know it's barbershop talk, so we get real and raw. So if you never heard and you thought like, yo, I thought Jay was just gonna be real calm and reserved, and oh my God, he didn't talk like Bible study. Yo, just we have fun. We have fun. Just let everybody gets to be let loose on this, and I always love that. But yeah. Like I got Arrow, Flash, Legends, Supergirl, which I don't watch, Black Lightning, Gotham, which I don't watch, Batwoman, which is coming out, Pennyworth, which is coming out, Titans, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, The Gifted, Runaways, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Cloak and Dagger. What else? Because I have the list of all the shows that I have. These are the shows.
Yeah.
And not to mention the movies.
No, of course.
So every single week.
That's fine. But to that point, like I said, if you need me to come in and fill gaps, because a lot of the shows you said you don't watch, I watch. So
yeah, that's true.
So like Supergirl, I watched that. I know you don't fucks with it. I will say this. I really appreciate Supergirl right now for those that are listening, for the simple fact that this whole storyline of anti-alien is very reminiscent of the whole MAGA situation.
Well, I get that. And this is the reason what turned me off to that. Because in the first several episodes, I understood what they're doing. I say, cool, we're gonna mirror what we're going through today. As does The Gifted. As does The Gifted. And I'm rocking with it. We need to have a way to talk about these societal issues that we face and not pull back from it. Cool. But Supergirl hits to the point where I'm with you. You don't have to beat me over the head with it.
Yes, I think
it's something to get heavy-handed.
I will say this: if you're not watching it, they are finding their stride now. The first half, I would say, going into the winter hiatus, they were hitting you pretty hard with it. Yeah, they figured out what they're doing now. Okay, makes sense. So I would say this: like, I think the one thing they've made that their through line for this season. Yeah. So like, it's going to continue to be that. But they're finding out a way now to, instead of just be like, here you go, boom, 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 boom. They're moving on to different storylines. Like, anybody that is watching Supergirl, you know that like Alex got her mind erased because we're going there later, man. That's DC talk. Just all right, I'll hold it. Let's kick off the show. The motherfucker trying to take over. Always kick it off with Marvel news, and some of the biggest Marvel news. I'm going to talk about Captain Marvel in two different elements. First and foremost, trolls tried to tank Captain Marvel by giving it horrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but the problem was they hadn't seen it. Now, this is the issue I've been having with this. I hate, and I'm going to say this, y'all know if you get in your feelings, that's your fault. I hate people try to make it seem as if someone wants to be a social justice warrior. They want for equal rights and equal, appreciation and respect for people. It's a bad thing. And so people are like, oh, you just want this to be they just want this to be a feminist film. No, it's a female character. It's an empowerment movie, just as Wonder Woman was. And so that happened. And then Brie Larson, who made her comments, I think I talked about it last episode, but if I didn't, how Brie Larson said she wants her press junkets to be more diverse. She's tired of seeing straight white males. People got offended by that. And my thing is this. Why are you getting offended? First and foremost, you're journalists, the majority of y'all. Thank you. The majority of you all aren't journalists. And if I'm getting your feelings, you know me. Let's do this. But there is this thing about wanting inclusion. And people keep saying, oh, well, the majority of Marvel's fan base is straight white men. Maybe, but it's not going to affect when it comes to a movie with a woman as a lead. And it's not meant to ostracize and say she doesn't want she never once said she doesn't want straight white men watching the movie. Said she wants more diversity
in the press junkets. Exactly. So what that means is people like Winston and I, who cover these things, to be able to do the interviews and not just saying because we're black, we're men of color, because we're qualified to do so, as well as our white counterparts have an equal amount. And for people who try to make that such a big issue, calm the fuck down. And so they went on Rotten Tomatoes and threw all these negative posts up. Oh, it's gonna suck. I know it's gonna suck from the trailers. If every movie was based solely on the trailers alone, no movie would be considered an automatic success. Exactly. Because some movies have trailers that everybody like, oh my God, I gotta see this. And yes, in many cases the movie turns out great, but in other cases the movie turns out horrible. And then there's some with trailers, you like, this shit is gonna be horrible from the trailers, and people go and see and be like, oh, they really kept all the good shit out of the trailers. So what's your thoughts on that, bro?
No, I mean, I completely agree. I think the thing that kills me a lot of times is when people make statements like, when Brie made that statement about having more diversity, the more journalists, first of all, most of the people that got upset, like you said, you're not journalists, so it doesn't affect you at all. It's not going to affect, like, you already have the one or two people you're going to listen to regardless. So why you care if, like, they're kind of spreading the love out a little bit doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Second of all, people should get upset about shit like when Liam Neeson was talking about, I'm gonna go out in the streets and kill me a nigga because like my friend got raped. Like those are things to get outraged about.
And I'm bringing that up because I know some of the listeners right now going, well, it was basically him having a moment and then not going through with it. And I understand that point, but I also need everyone to understand, and I've said this before, the point of that thought arose.
Right.
That is a scary thing to know. Whether you act on it or not, nobody, and some people say, oh, we all have those thoughts. Everybody does not have those thoughts.
Right.
I've had family members who've been victimized by various other races. I've never thought the first person of that particular race, I'm going to go out and attack and possibly kill. So that's the issue with that. And that's what people bring up where where Liam Neeson's thing is wrong. But I don't want to get into that because that's a whole other can of worms.
Other conversation. I get it. I'm just trying to say that there are appropriate things to get upset about. And I don't think that this is one of them, because she didn't say, I don't want to ever work with a straight white male again. I don't want to ever have a straight white male journalist, like you said. She never said any of those things. She just said she wants to see more diversity in the room. And I think that's important because, again, even though straight white males are the main like people that are going to see this movie and more, MCU and DCEU movies, etc., one, the whole point of it, the reason why these movies are able to be made is because the audiences continue to grow. You are bringing in other people, other eyes that are watching it. And the more that Disney sees a success for stuff like this, that Warner Brothers sees a success for stuff like this, they're going to continue to make it.
Just as much, Warner. I was just going to say, it's Warner Brothers as well. So we have to understand what happens. You a lot of people will say, oh, well, people shouldn't just be shoehorned into things because of their differences in ethnicities and races. And it's never been said that. That's not the case. We're talking about people who are qualified. I know you see consistently many men and women of color, many women in general, who are well qualified to do these things, but because the way these companies are ran is if they're boys clubs, right, then they put their boys in them. Right. And that is an issue. That is something people have to see and break past the stigma of saying, oh, it's trying to force nothing. No, you can't force something that's always been. And what do I mean by that? This country is built upon diversity.
Exactly.
Everything we use, everything we do in our day-to-day lives, diverse members of a variety of races have done that. So to be upset about the film and then to try to turn it too, as well as say, well, if Brie Larson really wanted to be about it, she would have let them cast a black woman and had them do Monica Rambeau. Let me tell you something, and I've tweeted it and I will say it again on this podcast. And again, if you have any feelings, if you're cutting off, my bad, but look, I gotta express this. We know good and goddamn well if Marvel would have went with Monica Rambeau over Carol Danvers, people would have lost their motherfucking minds.
Yep.
They would have lost their fucking minds. That is why you're getting introduced to Monica through her mother, Maria, in the film.
Exactly.
But on the flip side, on the positive, the early screenings have happened. My screening is in the beginning of March, so I'll let you know after I see it then. But on the flip side, early screenings have come out and they have all been positive. They've been rave reviews. And no, everybody's not getting a check from Marvel. The thing is, people have brought down, they were like, many people have also said, the best parts you never see in the trailer.
Right.
There's a lot, the dichotomy, the way it makes you feel, the 90s elements behind it. It grabs you and puts you into it.
That's the thing I'm the most excited about. Like, I got a few of those elements, like with the blockbuster. That's like a nice little element and whatnot. Like, I appreciate that they are paying an homage to the time. And the one thing that I've universally seen is how much it felt like for anybody that grew up in the 90s, it's literally like you are genuinely time traveling back.
That's what I've seen in reviews. Everybody who's I grew up in the 90s. I'm born in the 80s, but I grew up and came of age in the 90s. Right. And so to see all that, they said the soundtrack is reminiscent of it, all the feel and the vibes. Yes. And that's what I'm looking for, man. At the end of the day, I say all of this about the whole Captain Marvel subject to say this. Go in with an open mind. Do not go in biased. The only movie I've ever gone in biased on was X-Men Apocalypse. Why? Because I saw Apocalypse.
Because he looked like Ivan Ooze.
He looked like Ivan Ooze. So that was the one movie I went in biased. I went in unbiased when I first saw Batman v Superman. I went in unbiased when I saw Deadpool. I went in unbiased when I saw X-Men First Class. All these different movies. But some may appeal to me. I definitely for sure went in unbiased when I saw Suicide Squad. I went and saw Suicide Squad with the highest of fucking hopes. And so go see this movie unbiased, then give an honest review, an honest feel about it. Don't take just the trailers into consideration, because a lot of times you don't see stuff from the trailers in the film. So go in, be honest, then see it, and then follow my review that's coming out March 4th. All right, cool, we can move on. The Eternals is set to begin shooting this summer, which is very interesting because there may be a connection between Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and Eternals. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the Eternals, they're this giant race of celestial beings fall in the line of freaking Ego, the living planet. But one of the Eternals is Thanos' parents, Thanos. Right. So it brings out some of that, and it goes a little bit further. Some of the character breakdowns have come out, and in one of them, well, not more than one, a couple. One of the biggest ones is who's one of the bad guys. So Druig. Druig's supposed to be a bad guy. He is introduced in the pages of Eternals 11 back in 1977. Now, despite him being a Jack Kirby creation, it was actually Neil Gaiman who put this guy on the map. And in the comics, he can manipulate matter and energy, and he has served as an agent of the KGB once upon a time, something which could give the movie a big link to the Black Widow film we have coming, okay? There's a architect named Karen in the movie. We got Piper, Elysius, the Forgotten One, Icarus, Makari, Cersei, Star Fox. If Star Fox sounds familiar, Star Fox...
That nigga was on N64, right?
That too. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But also, Star Fox is the brother of Thanos.
There it is.
Thena, Zorus, and there was one more I forgot. And yeah, so they don't have him cast as of yet. But that is set to begin filming this summer. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a nice take on opening, because we're opening the cosmic realm now. That's what Phase 4 is about. Phase 4 is the cosmic part of the universe. So what do you feel about the Eternals?
The thing that makes... I'm excited about it. This is one of the few things in the Marvel universe I'm not super well versed in. The one thing that it does make me sad about is that we don't currently still have a Guardians 3 in the works, and how they a lot of times get mixed up in a lot of that stuff. So that bums me out a little bit. But I'm always excited to learn more, go further in depth. It's not saying that I'm done with all of the Earth heroes or anything like that, but I am excited to get outside of that realm and to just see something brand new. Yeah,
I definitely think that's what we've been building to it for so long.
Right.
And it's about time. There's nothing wrong with seeing everybody that's on Earth, but there is a bigger Marvel universe.
Right.
And why not have that bigger Marvel universe come into the bigger Marvel Cinematic Universe? Guardians 3, I think we're literally going to have to wait for a full announcement until after Endgame, because we need to know the fates of Zoe Saldana and Dave Bautista.
Right.
And I believe in my heart of hearts, they finna have Drax get murdered like a motherfucker. Because at the end of the day, Drax is a very recastable role.
That's fair.
Very easily.
That's fair.
I mean...
that's real. I agree with you. I feel like... Batista's been doing an incredible job. I would love to continue to see him do that, because he brings such a specific element to it. But I think John Cena could be fucking great at it. I feel like The Rock could be great at it.
Well, you got to take The Rock out, because he's already attached to do Black Adam.
That's right.
He's already attached to Black Adam.
That's true. But even with that, we've seen people go across universes before. So
absolutely,
it's possible.
Absolutely. But not in that big of a scale, though.
Well, fair. That's very fair. That's true.
Because that's a grand scale we're talking about.
No, that's huge. I agree with you. That's absolutely huge. Because Lawrence was Bill Foster,
and then he was Percy.
Percy.
Yeah, Percy White.
Yeah. So I get that. But no, I think that you're right. I think we have to get through this year before we really get a lot of knowledge, because I've put dollars to donuts on this a million times, that I believe that the end credit scene for Endgame is going to be some reference to mutants. We're going to end up seeing Professor X somewhere or some shit like that, and then that'll be the moment that all of a sudden this all comes together. We will wait and see. I can't wait for Eternals, though. I know that's what we were talking about before, because I just want to keep expanding. I just want to keep seeing this.
Oh my God, who is calling me on my Google? let us go ahead and shut that down. My Google Hangouts is ringing, which means it's nobody calling me that I want to talk to because they got my Google Voice number. Yep, you heard that happen. I didn't expect my computer to ring. But that's
the number I give to when someone's like, hey, dog, we should link up and do some shit. Let me get your number, and I can give them the Google
Voice number. Yeah, you get the young Google Voice number. Let's go forward. Speaking of still in the Marvel world with news, Ming-Na Wang of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent May, she drops a teaser pic letting people know season 6 and 7 is going, and now season 6 is coming earlier than expected. It is dropping in May. Wow. So
we were supposed to wait till June, right?
Like July? Late June, yeah. And so that's dropping. Also, we got the official trailer for Cloak and Dagger season 2.
Let's go.
Yo, I am so here for that. And I'm gonna tell you a funny thing I mentioned on Collider Heroes when I was on because I didn't realize this at first. So you ever watch a TV show or movie and you see a character and you're like, yo, where do I know them from? I've seen them on something, and it's irking me because I've seen them on something a lot of times. So the woman who plays Agent Bridget O'Reilly, who becomes Mayhem in season 2,
right? Her
name is Emma Lahana.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, I seen her somewhere before. And I didn't want to do it at first. I wanted my brain to figure this out and put 2 and 2 together because I couldn't. I was like, there's something different about her. So I said, fuck it. I went to IMDb. Emma Lahana also played Kira Ford in Power Rangers Dino Force.
No, nigga.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm on IMDb this shit right now.
She was Kira.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, she was trying to have a music career.
Yeah.
But she had blonde hair in Dino Force.
Fuck.
Yes.
I did not put that together.
That's why I couldn't catch it, because I was like, yo, I know her from somewhere. And like, I've been a fan of Cloak and Dagger. I've been a big proponent, and I've pushed on it heavily since I saw the debut of it. I was nervous about it, and I'm more than excited for season 2. Yeah, see?
I'm gonna turn my ring down.
You are so unprofessional, man.
Hey, man, look, I'm over here I put my thing on airplane mode, but now I'm trying to look up Dino Force shit, or Dino Thunder, dog.
Dino Thunder. I'm sorry, not Dino Force, Dino Thunder. Yeah, when Tommy came back as the Black Ranger. Yeah.
Yep, that is her. You're exactly right.
That is her.
Wow.
So, yeah, did you watch season 1 of Cloak and Dagger?
I got about halfway through it. The only reason I stopped is just like, you know, life comes at you fast. I happened to book a lot of stuff last year, which was great, which is like a positive thing, but that also meant that some stuff fell to the wayside.
Absolutely.
And I was enjoying the show, and I will definitely be finishing it so I can get ready for season 2. But you know, shit, Netflix was dropping Marvel shows every 2 seconds before they dropped the Marvel shows.
And then, Hulu has Cloak and Dagger on it too, so you can catch up for there.
Catch up.
Well, yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm trying to find a way to get in the press room for when they do the press tours.
Let's go.
Because I've been a big fan of it. I like the way it's on Freeform, but it doesn't feel like it's on Freeform.
Exactly.
Because when they said Cloak and Dagger was coming to Freeform, the first thing I thought about was, damn it, we finna get Dawson's Creek with superpowers.
Well, I'll give Freeform a little bit of credit. Like, I know this is purely nerdy stuff, but like, obviously they did a great job with Cloak and Dagger. Anybody that maybe watches Grownish, that show's been doing exceptionally well. You know what I'm saying?
But that's after the fact.
Well, no, for sure. But when Cloak and Dagger came out, it was right around when Freeform had done its rebranding, because it used to be ABC Family.
Yes.
So they really wanted to kind of bring a more kind of realness to it. They almost wanted to ABC's version of the CW, and so they're starting to do that now.
I also have to break some little news back to Captain Marvel that I just got. It's from Fandango. Okay. This is some news, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's fine.
We'll go for it. Captain Marvel is now the second all-time superhero origin story in advanced ticket sales, outpacing Aquaman, Deadpool, Wonder Woman, and more.
Wow. All right, Bree, get that paper, baby girl.
So that 100 million tracking looks like it's going to happen and then some.
Right.
It looks like it's going to happen and then some.
Right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. So I give Freeform a shot. But like I said, I got it once they did the rebranding, and it works.
Exactly.
It works. And our last bit of Marvel news before I go into talking about The Gifted real quick. 2 X-Men are now in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Hey.
Wolverine and Professor X. And when I say Wolverine, of course, I'm talking Hugh Jackman. And when I say Professor Xavier, I'm talking Patrick Stewart. They are in the Guinness Book of World Records for being in the longest amount of Marvel films ever. They have been in 16 years, 228 days.
Woo! We'll clap it up.
I mean, think about it.
I'm going to stand up for this. I'm going to stand up for Professor X right now. for Wolverine.
I just want y'all to know.
Go.
I just want y'all to know he's standing up.
I'm genuinely standing.
On an audio podcast.
It's all good. Look, we're going to take a picture of me standing right now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a selfie of me standing. We'll put it somewhere. He'll put it on his Twitter or something.
I'm not doing that. Sit your ass there. So, yeah, that's dope. So the only nobody else will come close to that. Because Tony Stark... Well, maybe, because I've heard rumors that Robert Downey Jr. has bought a house in Atlanta.
So here's the thing. He's sticking around. There just may not be any more Iron Man films is what I've been
Right, and he'll do either one of two things. One, he becomes a new Nick Fury and runs S.H.I.E.L.D. Or two, he becomes the voice in Peter's suit.
Right.
So, but yeah, he'll be around, so... Okay, I can see him not being Iron Man anymore. Like, yo, I'm tired. This suit hurts.
Well, the idea is they might continue to do what they did in like Homecoming, where like he'll send the suits remotely, so he'll be maybe in the movies, but he won't ever. There won't be another Iron Man movie. It's just gonna be him as like kind of a Tony Stark cameo type shit.
Also, it would be nice to see. Just go ahead and let us do Ironheart, because
that would be
the
great.
Riri Williams would be nice to open up. Let me go into the Gifted real quick. I got a chance to catch it. Blink got shot, and we think she dead. You saw the Gifted?
Yeah, I did.
Blink got shot, man, and Thunderbird was losing his mind.
No, he literally was losing his goddamn mind.
Here's the crazy part about that. Remember in season 1, she tricked him into loving her?
Yeah, I forgot
and now
about that.
he really loves her? I was like, oh, this was the story. So basically you can set somebody up and then y'all fall in love and then you get shot.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Andy and Lorna come back to the Brotherhood.
Finally.
Well, the Underground, so I say not the Brotherhood, the Mutant Underground. And Jace, Agent Turner, he out here conflicted about the Purifiers because he had a fucked up reasoning. He felt because all mutants were to blame for whatever happened on 7/15, which they still haven't shown. I still want to know what this big mutant event was
I would love
that
to know.
killed people. But now he went and saw the Morlocks, and they weren't a terrorist cell, which goes back to the thing we were talking about earlier with Supergirl, how this series and this season, mimics a lot of what we're going through today in our culture and our society in America. And so he didn't see this terrorist camp that was about to invade and take over humans. He saw families, refugees, women and children just trying to protect their homes. And I was like, okay, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that fact. And, the one thing that sticks back to me that they've been slowly doing this with him all season because he's definitely conflicted is the fact that there was a point where he and, what was the officer's name? He actually got killed in this, the main leader of the Purifiers.
Oh, yeah.
He got killed because...
he ran up on Reed.
And Reed fucked his ass up,
Reed
bro.
dissolved him. If you've not watched The Gifted, Reed Strucker found out like at 50 years old, he's a mutant.
Yeah, exactly.
And now at 50 years old, he's trying to use mutant abilities.
He just doesn't know how to control him. He gets pissed, and then people get just complete. They go the way of Thanos. They just disintegrate. So either way, I was just really impressed to see how they've been building this slowly through the season, where he meets a black mutant. He corners him, and he starts questioning him, like, you need to tell us about this, that, and the other. And he goes, I can't believe that you're rolling with the Purifiers. And he goes, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, you look like me, so you know about the Klan. Like, what are you doing? This is the New Age Klan. Yeah. I thought that was a beautiful element to kind of place just in there. And to see Turner being confronted with that, but on the flip side, to see some other like brothers in the Purifiers, very eager to go and kill mutants. So it's like a very interesting dynamic of like, have we become those monsters and stuff
that
like
we used to talk about?
Exactly.
But yeah, but the show's gotten good. We're getting closer and closer to the season finale now.
That's the next week. And
so I want to see what Reva and the Esme twins are gonna do. Shouts out to Grace Byers, who was killing it as Reva. And so if you haven't watched The Gifted, please catch up on it.
Boo Boo Kitty, man.
Boo Boo Kitty from Empire, which we can't get into that discussion. But I remember I met her and her husband, Trey, when we were at the Chirac premiere back in the day. And I was like, yo, I get to talk to people because I'm in the movie. And like, I'm in the setting with just the cast. And it's all superstars and shit. And I'm here. And at the time, I weighed a lot more.
Hey man, you're getting your supervillain on. You got your Murakami, dog. You'll be good.
Mirakuru, get it right. Now I think it's perfect time after talking Marvel, man. Let's go to my interview that I have with Miss Ashleigh Hairston of the NAACP Image Award nominee for Outstanding Children's Program, Marvel Avengers, Black Panther's Quest. met the sister at an audition we had, and we were partnered up, and there were a lot of laughs involved, and we stayed connected even afterwards, and she's done some amazing things. She's an accomplished
Yeah.
sketch and improv performer, as well as voiceover, and most notably, the recently NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Children's Program nominated Marvel's Avengers
Wow.
Black Panther Quest as the warrior Bask. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Miss Ashleigh Hairston. How are you?
Wow. Thank you. That was beautiful.
You're-
I was not expecting that.
See, I make sure it counts. I make sure it counts.
Yeah, that was like very unexpected.
I'm glad. How are
It sounds like a lot.
it is. It
I guess
is.
I do have some things going on.
I went through your IMDb. I was like, she done a lot.
Oh, wow.
So
Thanks.
yeah. So you do a lot. So how are you doing so far?
I'm good. I am doing all right today. It's warmed up a little bit, so I feel a little better.
So I have to start off again by commending you on everything you've done, like I said, and I could spend this entire time listing off everything you've done. But I got something I want to ask first, because a lot of people always are curious about this. But what made you choose the sketch and improv route?
Oh, honestly, I went to school for like theater acting, dramatic theater acting. And I always wanted to like do theater and like move to New York and do plays and stuff. And that was just not my calling. I ended up moving to Los Angeles, and my first apartment was right in Hollywood on Cahuenga Boulevard. And I just happened to, be exploring the neighborhood like just a couple days after I moved here. And I wandered into iOS theater. And I was just like, oh, there's a theater right down the street from my house. And I was with my best friend at the time, and she was like, let's go in. You should go in and see if they have classes and all that stuff. And so we went in there, and they literally were like, oh, we have a intro to improv class coming up on Saturday. It's free. Do you want to sign up? And I was like, okay, if it's free, sure.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, anything free, I'll take it. So I just took that class, and honestly, that is because I hadn't done really any improv before that, or even thought about a career in comedy or sketch or, all that stuff. And so I went to that class, and that was the first introduction to improv, and I never stopped since then.
I know you're glad that you are. It's actually been very lucrative for you, and that's a great thing to hear. And again, with sketch and improv, how did you decide to get into voiceover work?
Yeah, well, one of those people that I didn't even think about a career in voiceovers. Like, I didn't even realize that there was a whole, voiceover world. It was just separate. I was always focused on acting. And people just kept telling me here in LA, like, do you do voiceovers? They were like, you should do voiceovers. You have a very unique voice. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, because I hate my voice. Like, I didn't like the sound of it. I hate listening, to my voice before. Now I very much appreciate it. But people just kept asking me if I did voiceovers. And I'm like, no, maybe I should look into this voiceover thing. And so I just, I took 2 classes, and I got those classes for free also because I started interning at this theater place. Is like a actors company sort of place where they offer, classes and workshops and agency showcases and stuff like that. And so I started interning there in order to receive free classes. So I did that for a few years, and I took 2 voiceover classes, and then I was like, oh, maybe I do have an interesting voice. I like making characters. I like sounding silly, and then, that's how I got into it. And then it took 2 years, actually, because I ended up submitting to my agency, who I'm repped with commercially. And, the first time I tried to submit to them, they were like, oh, sorry, we already have someone who's got a similar voice and similar sound, so no thank you. And they passed on me, and then I was feeling defeated and just left it alone for a couple of years. But then people kept telling me, you should do voiceovers. And then one girl actually met someone backstage at a show, and she was like, I'm going to send you an audition. She was like, I work for this such and such show, and I think I have a role that you'd be great for. And just like record it and send it back to me. And then I ended up getting a call back for that. And then I told my manager about that, and he submitted me for like this Disney job that I ended up getting a call back for. Didn't book it, but like he used that as leverage to submit me to other agencies and be like, hey, this is my client. She keeps getting these callbacks for these, you know, well-known shows and stuff, and you should take a look at her. And then I went on a couple meetings, and then he resubmitted me to my agency again. So this was 2 years later. And then finally they were like, okay, we'll take you. Other people are interested. Yeah, come on board.
Nice. See,
So,
and that's the thing. It shows perseverance counts, and it means a lot. And I think it's great that people began to take notice, because it always seems weird, like when it's one person saying, hey, you might want to get this person, and then everybody, they're like, I don't know if we shouldn't take a chance. But then when the rumor mill starts swirling and people are like, oh, different agencies are interested, everybody's like, oh, let me jump on this.
Exactly. It's like bad, but it's good though. Yeah, if you keep at it. Yeah.
And that leads me to what I have to talk about now with Marvel Avengers Black Panther's Quest. How did it feel just being the voice of Bask and being a part of a property that is now renowned the world over?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's crazy. Okay, Jay, that was the first thing that I booked. I'm looking at my calendar right now. And if I go back, I booked that literally, it was the first thing I booked when they brought me on.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was not even, and it wasn't even a month. I hadn't even been there for a month with Osbrink yet. And like, that's the first thing that I booked. And then I booked another thing shortly after that for Cartoon Network. That ended up airing first, but like, I had to sit on that Black Panther thing for over a year.
So you know what's funny about that? I have so many friends who work in the different, comic book TV shows and movies and everything. And they all say the same thing, like, yo, I've been sitting on this for so long. Like I couldn't tell nobody.
You couldn't tell anybody or talk about it or like, and I'm just like, did this really happen? Is it really going to air? Like, that like they would send me my scripts that are like, have my name on them, watermarked on them. And it's like and I'm like, I cannot believe this. Literally says Marvel Avengers. What? That's crazy. And I can't tell anybody about it.
How many pictures did you take of that just to keep to yourself, just wanting to send to somebody?
So many pictures. I have them all still, my, original scripts and stuff. It's pretty amazing. It's very special, a very, very special feeling because I would not have ever imagined this,
Right.
Like I didn't even think voiceover was something that I could, aspire to do. I didn't even think, and then to be a part of Marvel and Disney and the Black Panther franchise is like, that's the top of the top, I'm not like the lead. I'm not the lead character, but like to even have, a part in that series and so many talented writers and performers. And I'm like, if you even look at the cast, like who are all of the voice actors listed, it's insane, the talent that I am, a part of the show with. It's incredible.
It is a great company that you keep for this show. And that's why I reached out to you to do this, because of course, there are some people who are well known, but as you just said with your story, people started taking notice and then it made it buzz. And with this, you're part of something, like I said, it's legendary now. It's renowned world over. And I believe it can only open more doors for you going into the future. But this brings me to my next question, and you're welcome. Absolutely. And with the feeling you had being a part of it, what's the feeling you got when you found out that the show was nominated for an NAACP Image Award?
Yeah.
Speechless. I can see. I can tell.
Speechless. Yeah.
You know when somebody could go, when somebody just like it was. Oh Lord, oh Father God.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah. Like drop down to my knees and be like, what is happening though? Honestly, okay, and that's another thing. Okay, so now you're a part of this amazing series. You get this amazing job, and then you don't even think about the possibilities beyond that. Like awards and stuff, that didn't even come. I didn't even think of, because I'm like, oh, cartoons, maybe kids watch it. Obviously, I mean, totally underestimating the power of the franchise and like that it is in Black Panther, and yeah, like wow. I saw it. I was coming out of class, and Court Lane is the vice president of Marvel animation, posted about it on Facebook. And he said, I can't believe that we've been nominated for an NAACP Image Award. And I had to read it like 10 times to be like, what? I had to be like, and he tagged me in the post with like Anika Noni Rose, Mark Hamill, Stan Lee, like James Mathis, Daisy Lightfoot, like what?
Wow.
Trevor Duvall, who is like, yeah, Keston John, so many amazing voice actors. And I'm like, I am a part of this post. What?
That's a real moment that it comes back
Very
again.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, you are a part of it, and you definitely deserve it. You have earned it. You've busted your behind from when I've known you, and I watch all the work you put in doing the CBS diversity showcases and everything you've done.
You.
So I pay attention, and so
you didn't watch it.
I've been paying attention.
I didn't know. Here I am stressing about. Does anybody know? Am I visible? Can anybody see me?
I think but I think it's something about being here in Los Angeles where we worry about that. Because again, me being from Chicago, it's about do the work. It's do the work, do the work, do the work. And you don't worry about too much who's watching. Here, you're always like, okay, is anybody paying attention? Am I making enough noise? Am I doing this and am I doing that? And so, but you are making that noise and you are making that buzz.
Wow.
So now I want to go from being serious. I want to have some fun with you. Okay? Okay. I'm going to ask you two fun questions. They're going to make you think, and they're going to make you be like, I don't know if I want to ask this, but you're going to have to answer this, okay? First question.
Okay, this is the part where I ask you to edit it out afterwards.
Oh, but it still won't happen. But the first question is, Marvel or DC?
Oh, gosh. Obviously Marvel. Are you trying to get me fired?
So here's the reason I asked this. I just did an interview with Damien Portier, one of my good friends, and he was just recently Goldface on the CW's The Flash, but he is also the original Thanos.
Whoa,
so
that's amazing.
So it's one of those. I like to ask people like that. Don't worry about your job is safe. You're good. Marvel, tell your true feelings.
Either way, yeah.
So Marvel, okay.
Yes. I would say, I think that Marvel, I think I go back to like the story Stan Lee just creating all of these characters and this universe and like of like characters, and I love, just his vision for what those characters mean. I grew up on like Superman, and like that is something that, is sort of nostalgic for me, DC characters. But I would say Marvel right now is just, they're killing it, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marvel. So here's my next question. So you're currently in the hero realm in the sense of being in Marvel's Avengers Black Panther Quest. So your choices are, would you rather be a voiceover hero or villain, or a live action hero or villain?
Definitely live action.
Okay.
Actually, no, I take that back. Okay, one of my biggest dreams is to be the voice of a character that gets put into, that is like a franchise so much so that it's like a ride at an amusement park.
Hey, that's an amazing dream to have.
That's like the biggest dream I have, where it's like, oh, you are now at an amusement park and your character is someone in the ride.
That's
people just like,
dope.
Yeah. But then my other dream for acting is to play a superhero in a live action, film, adventure film of some sort, which would be so cool.
My goal is always, everybody wants to be the heroes. I predicate myself on it. I want to be a villain. I just want to be a super villain I just want to do something different. I'd be grateful either way personally, but for me, always a super villain. Always a super villain.
Yeah.
So before I close,
so fun. And my character is a villain right now. Like, she is pretty intense, and there's so much fun playing that too.
See?
Actually, yeah, I'd be a hero or a villain. I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before I let you go,
You have to be a tiny, tiny villain though, because I'm only 4'11".
Well, that makes you more dangerous. It just makes you more dangerous. But before I let you go, if you've got any upcoming projects that's coming within the next couple weeks, months, please let the people know about them.
Okay. I have a bunch of shows I'm doing. Who Made the Potato Salad? That is a New York sketch team who's coming out to LA to do a show, and it's a big, huge show. It's going to be at the Regency West. That's this Saturday, the 23rd. And you can just look up Who Made the Potato Salad on Facebook or something. I think tickets are $25, but it's going to be such a fun show. All Black cast and writers. We create the show in one day, not even a full day, just 5 to 10. I think the show goes up at 11, but that's happening. And then I have a Black History Month show at UCB Sunset. That's on the 27th. That's going to be, I'm writing some sketches for that show, and I'm going to be doing improv with my team, Black People. And
I love the name. What's the best name for this team? Black People. We just gonna call it Black People.
We were bored. We were like, what can we call ourselves? I don't know, Black. Black People. But yeah, I think that's it. Watch Black Panther's Quest on the 24th. It's the season finale, and it's going to be an hour-long show. Comes on at 9 on Disney XD, and I think those are the biggest things. Well, I have a show on Wednesday people can come to. That's also at UCB Sunset. It's called their mod night, and it's my team I've been on with for 3 years, and we're retiring, so we're doing a big 1 hour long best of show.
Oh, that's so nice. And how can people reach you if they want to get in touch with you or find out more about you?
Okay. Follow me on Instagram, Ashleigh Crystal. Yeah, at Ashleigh Crystal. And then on Twitter, I'm Ash Chris Hair, which Ashleigh Crystal wasn't available. And I'm taking new suggestions for names if anybody has any. Because people think I'm a hairstylist on there.
And just in case people are trying to figure out how to find you on Instagram, spell your name out, because your name is not spelled like the normal Ashleigh.
Yes, you are correct. That's right. Thank you. You are good, Jay. I appreciate this. ASHLEIGHCRYSTAL. Ashleigh Crystal.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give it one more time a round of applause and a lot of thanks to Miss Ashleigh Hairston. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you to Ashleigh Hairston for the interview, man. I appreciate it so much. She's a lovely woman. Please follow her, everything she is doing. She is about to blow up major, and you want to be a part of that, all right? You're right.
Hey, look, we ain't gonna talk about Arrow right now. You know how I feel about that.
Luckily, we don't get to talk. Unfortunately, we don't get to talk about it this week because Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning, all were off. They will return the week of March 4th. Okay, but in some DC news, the first picture of Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the Huntress from Birds of Prey
looks awesome.
Has come out.
I like it.
Now they did say, first and foremost, Kathy Yan did say that the looks would be different from the comic books. So don't get Kathy Yan, I believe it is. I want to make sure I got her name right, just so I don't, feel like a dick. Kathy Yan, excuse me. She did say the costumes would look different.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. That's cool, because what you need to do is let people know ahead of time.
Right.
Instead of when it comes out and you don't see it, you're like, what the fuck?
Well, like what happened with Cyborg, what happened with Starfire, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they didn't warn people.
Right.
Well, the problem with Starfire was the first photo that leaked was a behind-the-scenes photo that wasn't official.
Right.
And so it didn't do it any justice.
I agree.
And I agree that, like, they film these TV shows and movies in open areas a lot of times. Everything is not filmed on a soundstage. And so the average person can wander by, see what's going on, take a picture, and then bam, you get it. And now you have the studio who are like, fuck, well, we just got to release this. And with Starfire, everybody's like, she looked like a hooker. I was like, I get the jacket, yeah, she does. But then she did have the comic book accurate costume on under it. Right. So it worked. But with the Huntress, she looks like she's very ready for battle. I'll say that much.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and here's my whole thing. As long as we get to a point where it's justified, and even to the point where you get like a nod or homage, because like I remember seeing Daredevil, Marvel Daredevil, where he didn't really look like the armor at all, and eventually you did get that by the end of it. Mm-hmm. You look at Luke Cage, where he didn't really they didn't do anything, but they did do a Power Man homage when he left the prison, and like they did eventually have him in the yellow shirt every now and again, but like they did his own thing with the hoodie. You just have
they had the yellow. What they did was the yellow trim on the inside of it.
But if I'm not mistaken, there was at least one episode where he did rock the classic yellow shirt and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like I'm okay with it, because you're built, even though you're using a clear base, you're building your own world. You know what I'm saying? So like I think it's fine, and I'm sure we will get an opportunity for her to show off the classic Huntress outfit. You know?
Well, we even did that. Remember, we did in Suicide Squad. We saw the classic Harley Quinn,
right,
in the dream sequence she was having.
Exactly.
So you will get it. So I'm here with that. Now let's go on to that. Here's some other news. It came out earlier this week. Could Armie Hammer be playing Batman? It was rumored that he was in final talks. I said it's a rumor that he was in talks, because if he would have gotten it, it would have made his journey to Batman complete, because he was cast in George Miller's Justice League Mortal back in the day. He's since said, no, that's not happening. So as of right now, we have no idea who Batman is. Even there are so many people are considering. Robert Pattinson, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
That would be fine.
So what do you think is going on with Batman, bro?
I think the best thing that ever happened to Batman was Christopher Nolan. I think the worst thing that ever happened to Batman was Christopher Nolan, because we've now put it on such a pedestal that I think that it is very hard to recreate that magic, and I think they're trying to figure out how to do that. I think that I personally enjoyed, I think the best Bruce Wayne we ever had, honestly, was Ben Affleck. I know a lot of people feel weird about Batfleck, especially because of all the shit that went down with those two movies that he was in. But I do think that he was the best Bruce Wayne. I think what we want to do is take our time and really figure out who we want. I don't want to just... Like, if you give me Robert Pattinson, I'm probably going to revolt. I will burn down the city of Gotham.
I've heard some people say, I don't want a Batman who twinkles.
How's he going to go around in the night, nigga, if he's fucking glowing and shit?
Y'all see the dark? Hey, man, y'all see the Batman? What about him? That nigga sparkly.
Not even that, bro. You hear... What was that? You hear that shit? You look up... Nigga, it's Batman. Just shoot right at the fucking glitter and shit.
Yo, did you just hear a wisp? Did you hear a wisp? It sounded like a little light version of the damn Back to the Future.
Dude, did you hear? It sounds like someone's silently crying because his girl's leaving for a werewolf. Shoot that nigga, dog.
Yo, why is Batman in tears? And why the fuck he look like he got on lip gloss? Hella lip gloss. Why is Batman's lips shiny as fuck?
Oh my god.
Does it get that ashy in Gotham? Hey, yo, Batman, my nigga. You need this Carmex? Hey, Carmex for no prison, my dude. Listen, I'm trying to help out your moisture.
Nah, man. Batman rolling around with Burt's Bees, my dog.
Yeah, he got that Burt's Bees going on. Batman got that Burt's Bees. Batman got that Burt's Bees. That's hilarious. I don't know why we started twerking to it. In other DC news, Dougray Scott from Mission Impossible 2, as well as a few other movies, has been officially added to the cast of Batwoman. He will play Jacob Kane. He will be Kate Kane's father. Kate Kane being played by Ruby Rose, who, as I keep telling everybody, needs to put on a little bit of weight because she was great in Orange is the New Black. She lost it all for the pilot. For the crossover, shall I say, that was a backdoor pilot. It's like, yo, you can put on some bulk. It ain't gonna be that bad in a film.
Right. Especially from the standpoint of like, she's supposed to be like a superhero. So you need to be able to, and beyond that, not a superhero with powers. You're out here like doing it physically. So
you're doing it like your cousin is doing it.
Exactly.
Who's a psychopath.
Well, exactly. So like, you look at Stephen Amell as Arrow. And you look at the fact that, again, being a vigilante, you have to shape your body up. I understand man versus woman, all that kind of stuff, but Batwoman is a fucking badass.
Hold on, I want to say this, though. Okay, so I agree with you on that. You got to shape your body up as a vigilante. John Diggle is out this motherfucker looking like he has a professional wrestling match every time he puts on the Spartan jacket.
Hey, man.
Echo Kellum look like I just want to be with my kids. Wild Dog, I just want him to be shot in the face. Like,
you still hate Wild Dog?
I want him shot in the face, point blank range. I want somebody to walk up to him as a friendly. Like, yo, man, you my hero. I believe in everything you do. Man, I like seeing your face outside the mask. And he take off that hockey mask, just bow right between the eyes. That's what I want in the episode of Arrow. I know it sounds graphic and violent, but it will be very pleasing to me.
Hey, man, how many times did they stab, in Cause and Excess, did they stab every member of motherfucking Team Flash?
They stabbed
the violence. Everybody got that dagger over and over and over
Everybody caught that work, man. So again, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that. And as far as Doom Patrol, the second episode is out now on the DC Universe. I don't want to get much into it on here because Winston and I did a review on it, which you can check on my YouTube channel. I'll give you that in a minute. So that about wraps up everything this week, bro. Everything we got, man. Appreciate you for coming to hang out with your boy on the Mad Titan podcast, dog.
Glad to be here, man. Thank you for having me. Y'all can find me.
Yo, let me do that to introduce that. You don't just jump into shit on my show. I run my show. Niggas, listen. Nah, man, go ahead and tell the people how they can reach you and how they can find you.
Hey, you can find me at the Swaggy Blerd. That's THESWAGGYBLERD. That's across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, if you be doing that, all that good stuff.
And this nigga's a pro dodgeball player.
I am.
He knows the 5 Ds of dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Like, I think that's hella dope.
Hey, it's fun. If y'all trying to play, hit me up. I'll tell you where we can do it. We actually about to out here, we did our all Wakanda team in, so we got some fly ass gear.
I don't know, he sent me some things. So first of all, he was like, yo, you want to get on this Wakanda gear? And first of all, when he sent it, I didn't want to tell him in a text message because I was saving it for this. When you sent me that, I was like, yo, they gonna give me some free gear? And then you hit me back, was like, I'm gonna send you the prices. I was like, well, this nigga's gonna be disappointed.
Hey, look, man, I'm broke. We ain't got it.
I thought y'all was sponsored by it or something. I didn't know y'all were just regularly ordered.
So that's the whole thing, is that we have the team, and then we've actually opened it up to like all black dodgeballers as kind of the start, as like a kind of exclusive gear, and then eventually we will kind of just sell it out to the populace. So if I got an extra, I got you. I'll hit you.
Because the way it came, I was like, niggas, I'll be getting hooked up with nice little t-shirts. Man, it'd be dope to have some Wakanda shorts to work out in the gym. And then it was like, okay, here's the price. And then I looked at the price and I was like, well, you know what? That idea was great for the first 10 minutes it was in my head.
How about this, man? I already told you I would hook you up with some. How about I hook you up with some shorts instead?
I'll take the shorts, nigga. Right. I'll be in this gym Wakanda forever. I wish a white dude say something to me. But nah, man. Seriously, I appreciate you for coming through.
Right.
And as always, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington by now at this point. The YouTube channel where you can catch the Doom Patrol review with me and Winston, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. And to everybody who has joined the Supervillain Squad, join my Supervillain Squad on Patreon, man. Become a member of it, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. I'm pulling up the list. I had them before. My bad. I let it go. Oops. I'm sorry. Oops, I did it again. Like Britney Spears. That's how I stall when I'm trying to find people's fucking names. Where is it? Okay, that's not that. That's say patrons.
Never let you go.
I appreciate you doing that.
Just vamping for you, dog.
Shout out to my newest members of the squad, John Mariano, DJ Snacks, and I forgot who's the newest one else that came over here, David Taylor as well. But also shouts out to King J. Brown, Andrew Nairley, Brandon Buckingham, Brooklyn Vale, Dominic Watt, E.L. Shirai, Ike Starks, LK, Lowen Lim, Paisley Darts, Quentin, Ruby Bueta, Smurfette, and Steve Tozen. I appreciate you all. Again, join the squad. I just put up my thoughts on should toy makers be held to the same embargoes as movie review critics. That's up there right now. And I had Quay John Drew of Collider Heroes on there, man. But thank you all for listening to the podcast. Thank you again, Winston. Please rate and subscribe here. Rate and subscribe wherever you're listening to. Give us those 5 stars. Give us the good review. It puts it up higher in the algorithm. More people find out about this and everybody becomes a fan, and I want you to be that as well, all right? I will holler at you guys next week with another great interview and probably another guest. Till then, I'm out of here. Peace.